every season of building needs to be loud. Some seasons are meant to be quiet, and that is okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Becoming the Product. I am Naya, your host as always, and today's session is one that feels very close to my current season. If you've been following my journey, you probably noticed that I went a little bit quiet in the past month. The podcast paused, the newsletter paused, even LinkedIn got a little break. And if you're anything like me, ambitious, multi-hyphenate, constantly building, quiet seasons can feel uncomfortable, almost as if you're disappearing. But what I have learned is that the silence doesn't mean stagnation. Sometimes silence is strategy. In Q3, I didn't plan the break. It just kind of happened. I was juggling a lot at that point in time, and I was also exploring uncharted water, so it got a little bit overwhelming with the incubation work, my PMAS planning behind the scenes. And honestly, I was in that deep work zone where you are thinking more than you're talking, more than you're doing. And during that time, I wasn't launching anything shiny or even dropping carousels every other day, but I was doing work behind the scenes. I was working in my incubation. We were doing a demo day. One of the programs I did finally came to the end. So I was reflecting on that as well. I was also working on my content strategy for the rest of the year, even though I had taken a pause. But I was kind of looking at what worked the previous month, what caused my pressure and made me overwhelmed. And I was trying to factor that into the next content strategy. And I was also reflecting on what I actually want the next phase of my life to look, because in all honesty, how I am here in this month of October was not what I planned when I started this year in January. So everything was looking weird. It wasn't glamorous, but it was very necessary. So a few points to notice that here are the things. When you're in that quiet season, it's easy to think that you're falling behind. I kept coming online and seeing people's posts, and I kept feeling that people are going to forget me. People are going to why is she quiet? Especially when you're strong, everybody seems to be doing something good. But sometimes those quiet moments are where the roots grow. They are where your strategies get sharper and your ideas get clearer and your systems get stronger. So, for me, PMAAS is launching, or I plan to launch it in January 2026. And this quiet season has been where I've validated ideas. I've kind of done research, looking around, trying to understand the pain points that I'm trying to solve. And I'll share more about this in my newsletter. So if you want a behind the scenes peek, the links are in the show notes. Point number 2 is that we live in this visibility-driven world. Everybody is creating content. Everybody wants to be seen. But not being visible does not make your work less valuable. When I went quiet, I had this fear. What if everyone forgets who I am, forgets what I represent, forget the value I can bring? But the truth is that the work I was doing quietly is exactly what is making this Q4 comeback more strategic. You don't need to constantly perform progress for it to be real. Sometimes your biggest leaps happen off stage. So if you're in a quiet season now, use it to sharpen your skills. Grab one or more of my mini courses and work through it in your own time. It is designed exactly for seasons like this, when you are building beneath the surface. My third point is that proof does not expire. You can document your journey quietly now and share it later when the time is right. In fact, a lot of the content and stories I'm sharing this quarter happened in the past months. Like I said, I just had a demo day for one of the programs I launched, and this was the first time I did something like this. And I'll be talking more about it now in my comeback. So if you are listening and you have been in your own quiet season, keep a simple doc or a Notion page. Record voice notes if that's your preference. Capture that messy middle. When you're ready to share, you have the receipt. You have enough to talk about. So here's your reminder. Silence does not mean stagnation. Some seasons are loud, others are for planting. If you want to keep up with my own quiet build, including how I am shaping PMAAS for January, please join my newsletter. You can also check out the mini courses I have created specifically for you guys if you want to build your skills in your quiet season. And you can always connect with me on LinkedIn. My DMs are open if you want to chat about PMAAS or your own behind the scenes journey. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to take anything from this conversation today, it's that silence does not mean stagnation. I'm repeating it again. Sometimes it is a strategy. So I hope you got one or two things from this conversation, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great week.